Welcome to the first ever video of Apigia History Videos, and in this video I want to talk about World War I. Okay, so World War I was a European conflict that eventually included many countries from all over the world, hence the name World War I. And so let's talk a little bit about World War I. So World War I started when a Serbian man named Gavrilo Princip assassinated the heir to the throne for Austria-Hungary. His name was Archduke Franz Ferdinand. So he got assassinated, and then Austria-Hungary got very angry at Serbia. So since Austria-Hungary got angry at Serbia, they gave them an ultimatum. And the ultimatum had pay us a bunch of money and a lot of resources, and it was ridiculous because there was no way Serbia could do this without destroying their internal economy. So they didn't do it, and Austria-Hungary ended up declaring war on Serbia. And so this was a war between two nations. How did this become a world war? So Germany had an alliance with Austria-Hungary, so they joined the war. And Russia, England, France, they had an alliance with Serbia, and so they also joined the war. And so now this is a war between five nations. And eventually there were so many alliances in Europe that the entire Europe was involved in this World War I. Now let's fast forward to 1917. The U.S. is thinking about joining this war. It's also known as the Great War. And the U.S. For the first 3 years of the war had no reason to join the war because they saw it as a purely European conflict, not something that some other nations had to get into and waste a lot of lives in this war. But why did the U.S. join? They'll discover two things. One was the Zimmermann telegram, which was a telegram from Germany to Mexico saying that if Mexico helped Germany win World War I, then Germany would help Mexico get some of the southern United States back to Mexico that the U.S. had stolen from them, had conquered from them in the Mexican-American War. And the U.S. obviously did not want this. The second reason was that the Lusitania, a ship carrying 128 U.S. citizens, was sunk by a German U-boat, which is kind of like a submarine. And the German U-boat was obviously from Germany, so this was not good for U.S. anyway, because they didn't want Germans killing Americans, which were not even involved in the war. That was another flame for the United States to join World War I. So eventually, sometime in 1917, the United States joined World War I, and they joined on the side of the Allied powers. So the Allied powers were all the countries on Serbia's side, and the Central powers were all the countries on Austria-Hungary's side. The Allied and the Central. So the Allied powers had Serbia, England, Russia, and France, and the Central powers had Austria-Hungary, Germany, Prussia, and a bunch of other countries. But the Allied powers were desperate for help because a huge military power, Russia, had to drop out of the war because of an internal rebellion, an internal affair. It's called the Russian Revolution, and we can talk about that in a later video sometime. So they had to drop out of the war. So the Allies were desperate for help. So U.S. joined the war on the side of the Allies, and the World War I was eventually won by the Allies. So then after the Allies won, they made a treaty called the Treaty of Versailles, and then blamed Germany for all of World War I, and Germany had to pay extensive war reparations, which messed up the economy in Germany for years to come, and many historians think this is the cause of World War II. Thanks for watching. I hope this helped. This is Apigia signing out.